Today we are in Judges chapter 4. Now, in our reading already of the book of Judges, we've seen cycles of two different judges, Othniel and Ehud. If you'll remember, the cycle that plays out over and over throughout the book of Judges is the Israelites do what is evil in the Lord's sight. Then God allows the Israelites to be conquered and oppressed by a neighboring nation. The people of Israel cry out to God, and then God sends a judge to deliver the Israelites. Over and over, you will notice this pattern, and today is no different in Judges chapter 4. Ehud, the last judge we saw, has died, and after a period of 80 years of peace, we read this from the writer of Judges. After Ehud's death, the Israelites again did evil in the Lord's sight. So the Lord turned them over to King Jabin of Hazor, a Canaanite king. The commander of his army was Sisera, who lived in Harosheth Hagoyim. Sisera, who had 900 iron chariots, ruthlessly oppressed the Israelites for 20 years. Then the people of Israel cried out to the Lord for help. So the pattern continues. The Israelites are being oppressed by the Canaanites, who is ruled by King Jabin, and the army is led by Sisera. By the way, I don't know if I'm pronouncing those names right. 20 years of oppression pass, and the Israelites then cry out to God to save them. Now, enter onto the scene Deborah. Pause in the story here to tell you a little bit about Deborah. She is the only female judge in the entire Bible, and it can be said that she was the most godly of all the judges in this time at that. She was also described as a prophetess. I liked what the ESV Study Bible said about her. It said it marked her as a prophet and a mother of Israel. Many sought out her judicial decisions. So she was very well respected among the people. Now God establishes Deborah as the next judge who would help to bring God's deliverance to the nation of Israel. Deborah recruits a man named Barak to lead the Israelite army and asks him to gather 10,000 warriors. He agrees to lead, but only if Deborah will come with him in battle. Deborah then prophesies, she agrees, but then prophesies that Barak will not receive the credit or the glory for overtaking the Canaanites. So, to make a long story short after that, the Israelites and the Canaanite army prepare for battle. We read this in verse 14 and 15. Then Deborah said to Barak, "Get ready. This is the day the Lord will give you victory over Sisera, for the Lord is marching ahead of you." So Barak led his 10,000 warriors down the slopes of Mount Tabor into battle. When Barak attacked, the Lord threw Sisera and all his chariots and warriors into a panic. Sisera leapt down from his chariot and escaped on foot. So Sisera flees, and he seeks refuge in the tent of a woman named Jael, who was wife of Heber, who we learned from earlier in this chapter that he was a descendant of Moses' brother-in-law. Now Jael, Heber's wife, welcomes him into her tent, gives him something to drink, and then Sisera falls asleep. Now, what I will tell you about the events that follow is that Jael kills Sisera. How she does it, I am going to leave up to you to read in verse 21. But let me just say, the way she does it will catch you completely off guard. We're going to pick up now in verse 23. So on that day, and this is the day that Sisera was killed by Jael. So on that day, Israel saw God defeat Jabin, the Canaanite king. And from that time on, Israel became stronger and stronger against King Jabin until they finally destroyed him. Now, two things strike me as I read through chapter 4. And first thing is the mercy of God. Time and time again, we see and are going to continue to see throughout the book of Judges that God shows incredible, unending mercy to the nation of Israel, even though time and time again they do what was evil in His sight. He continues to show up and continues to provide ways to save them from oppression. Now, second thing that strikes me is the sovereignty of God. God puts the people, the right people, in the right place at the right time to accomplish His plan of redemption. And this is not only true for the nation of Israel at this time, but it's also true for you and I in our lives today. God has set you apart and placed you in the year 2022, chose where you were born, and led you to where you live now for a specific purpose. You were quite literally made for this moment. So the question I have for you today, have for all of us today, is what might God be calling you to do here, right now, in the year 2022, where you are?
If these devotional videos are helpful to you, subscribe to our channel and click the notification button so you know when we post a new video. And of course, please share them with others.